More interesting question for me, though, is what does this mean for Alabama? Because Nick Saban hates how we talk about his football program, right? And I get that. I get nobody really respecting your journey, respecting what he calls the process. I understand how it feels for success to be taken for granted, for winning to feel cheap. I got a couple of friends that are diehard Alabama fans, and the thing that we talk about the most is how Alabama fans don't really check in to the season until December because they expect to be there. They expect to be in the SEC championship game. And it has made them a little bit complacent and a little too used to winning in a way that Georgia fans ain't going to paint Indianapolis red tonight. They're going to be beside themselves, right? Because they know what this means. Now Nick Saban gets to tell us, and more importantly, his players, you're not that good. We're not that good. See? You can get your butt kicked. You can get your butt kicked by unranked Texas A&M with a backup quarterback, and you can get your butt kicked by the number one team now in college football in Georgia, a team that you beat by 17 points in the SEC title game if your mind isn't right. Jameson Williams goes out. Yes, that changes things for you. Not having John Mechie changes things for you. But you had a bunch of young cats that perhaps thought that they had done something because the 2020 team had done something. And that's one of these things I think every football coach that has had a successful season has to fight, right? He has to say, that's the 2020 team. Y'all haven't done diddly squat, right? How does it feel to have an SEC championship game or championship win if you are going to be the runner-up in the national championship? That's not what Alabama football is about for him. So he gets to say tomorrow, now we got to get back to work. Now y'all have something to chase. Now nothing is sure. And I really am looking forward to seeing how Alabama responds to that, because the last time they felt that, they got beat down 44-16 by Clemson. And they responded more or less in kind. Like they had injuries in that 2018 or in that 2019 season, but it felt like they were going to get back to where they were doing. And they went undefeated in 2020, and they got back to the national championship game in 2021. There's no reason to believe they can't do it in 2022. I also am interested to see what this means for, the guys coming back on that team, because when Jameson Williams going out, we'll find out the extent of his injury, I'm sure, in the next 24, 36 hours about whether or not it's the worst, which could be a blown ACL or whatnot. But he is one of the best wide receivers available in this draft. Does he choose to return to Alabama, where they have done a magnificent job rehabbing other dudes and their knees and their shoulders and what have you? Or does he choose to just go straight to the league? I'm going to be interested, because I think that's going to change the calculus for how we feel about Alabama, because Bryce Young and Jameson Williams have an argument for the best quarterback wide receiver duo in college football. Now, Ohio State fans are yelling at me about C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and I'm saying you have an argument too. Right now, I can't call it. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. I also think it's really fascinating to take a look at guys like Will Anderson and Dallas Turner and what they're going to do at middle linebacker as well, because Alabama has this unique front in that they could trust those two outside linebackers to act as ends and as nine techniques and to cover hooks and flats, right? They have these hybrid safeties that play inside linebacker in Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o, which is why when you saw number 10, Henry To'oTo'o, coming on the blitz, you understood that it had to happen because math, but he's getting rolled up because, he ain't the biggest dude in the world. That's not Jeremiah Trotter going at a center. That's basically Bob Sanders, right? That's a short, stout tackling machine. Now, Henry To'oTo'o led the team in tackles, but that's all he does, right? What are you going to do with that now that you know? Is he coming back, right? What do you do with Christian Harris? Is he coming back? Jordan Battle, these sorts of questions that I want to get answered. I had this written down. I think it's just interesting to raise to you which Stetson Bennett would show up in the national championship game. And the answer's all of them, right? Like it's all of them. And then for Nick Saban over here, who suffers his second loss to a former assistant this season. He's like, hey, guys, I lost 2 games this year. I lost 2 games the last 2 years. They happen to be to Jimbo Fisher, who has won a national championship as a head coach and who has broken Alabama's record for recruiting rankings this year already before signing day. And the other one's Kirby Smart, who won a national championship tonight. So both of those guys are really, really good. I guess that's the other thing that we could say about Nick Saban is that the legacy for that man is only growing because now his tree has 2 national champions on it in addition to himself. I don't know that you could do much better than that, right? Like, I think about coaching trees that way. Like, the 2015 coaching staff at Alabama is elite. It's got Nick Saban at head coach, right? It's got Kirby Smart at defensive coordinator. It's got Lane Kiffin at offensive coordinator. It's got Mario Cristobal at offensive line. You got Mel Tucker coaching on that team. You got Dan Lanning as a GA on that team. Like, it's really kind of sick and nasty. Now that I mention it, Dan Lanning's got a national championship. Like, as an assistant, as a coordinator, in addition to having one as a grad assistant. So I'm excited about that. I really can't wait to dig into that in the offseason and continue to build Nick Saban's legacy. And I know a lot of people are not excited about Nick Saban, but I am, because I've never seen this sort of dominance in the sport. You know, for a bunch of people that really want to tell me that we don't need to expand the playoff, if anything, we need to retract it, I'm going, y'all hate Nick Saban, because that's what it would be. It'd be a bunch of us talking about Nick Saban even more so than I do now. Thanks for watching this video. And remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 ranked show YouTube channel.